Alrighty, howdy neighbors, and welcome back to Nightshade. Last time, we killed our dad. Anyway, let's continue. The border dividing Ichigo and Dewa. Someone's wound was deep. It was difficult for him to run through the mountains, so he took the highways instead. No one will be after you any longer. It's hard to believe, and I still continue to walk on high alert. Someone scolded me lightly. You'll get more suspicious when you do that. I wasn't the same person I was anymore. The months had passed since I left Koga, as a sheltered girl, hopeful and bright-eyed on her first mission. Too much had happened since then. He had been there for me all the time. I turned to look at him. Strange. When we spend peaceful days together like this, I begin to feel a little shy about what's happened in the past. He taught me many things and protected me. What is it?
Yeah.
Nothing, I thought you were looking at me. I felt the blush spread on my cheeks. I ducked my head. He's right, but I can't tell him that. But I was also cautious of his gaze. In my head, something... Well, sometimes I would meet his eye. I meant he was watching me too. What is it?
Yeah, nothing.
We'll reach a town soon. We'll rent a room tonight. Yes. We never stayed in an inn during our travels together. I hope he didn't notice I was awfully nervous, that perhaps I didn't know the proper manners. Land of Ichigo, inn. We entered the town. Hanzo-sama walked into the inn, as if he was used to it. I need a room. No rats, please. Of course. I sat on the raised wooden floor, copying his movements. Then the servant ladies came to wash her feet. Our room was in the back on the second floor. I had a good view of the streets from the window. A comfortable breeze blew in, and adding to the peaceful summer we were having. Not many guests come at this time of day. Really? Travelers travel as much as they can when the sun is out. That's why there are not many people in the streets. Now that he mentioned it, he was right. I never left the village before. It was strange to be in a foreign town. That's so. It's a very quiet town compared to Kyo. There are too many people in Kyo. I think I prefer it this way. Is that right? Then I felt him smile. Didn't look at his face. But he smiled, or was I wrong? After a while, I began to get curious. I spent my time at the window watching the people. Time flowed slowly. So slowly, I didn't know how to spend it. I remembered how I used to spend a quiet time back in Koga, before going to my first mission in Kyo. This felt completely different. I was thinking back to the last battle we had, when you killed your dad. End of Ueno, in the mountains a few days earlier. Everyone woke up after, I forgot. Whoops. Brother Shishiro was easily convinced about what Father Kondo Ueno had done.
See,
Mr. Kondo did that. He said nothing further, but I could imagine he meant to say, I thought as much, before he swallowed it. The other three were a different matter. They stood there. They stood with pale faces, unable to disguise their shock. Mr. Kondo did that. Kiara looked as if she were about to cry. She faced me and asked a simple question. So you're alright. Kiara. I felt like crying too, at the concern she showed. I swallowed my tears back and nodded.
関東様の死によって全てが一旦白紙に戻ると考えていいだろう。私たちは里へ戻ることにする。
Now that Master Kondo is dead, all contracts are void. We will return to the village.
白紙に戻るなら逃げなくてもいいんじゃないか。お前本当は犯人じゃないだろ。
Wait, does that mean Iris doesn't have to run anymore? Not really a murderer, are you?
無理よ。一度下った犯人の沙汰を取り消すのがそんなに簡単だとは思えないわ。
No, I think it'll be difficult. When she's branded as a criminal, it'll be difficult for her record, to have her record annulled.
それも三成様まで一枚噛んでるんじゃ認めるわけないじゃない。
And if Mr. Ishida is behind this, there's no way he can admit it.
姉様、行ってしまわれるのですか？
Mr. Iris, are you leaving? Yeah, I think it's for the best. I cannot return to Koga.
上野勘道が死亡したと報告すれば五大老はしばらく動けぬはずだ。あとはこちらで引き受ける。
When word reaches the five elders that Kondo Ueno is dead, they will not be able to do anything for a while. I will take care of the rest.
半蔵殿、よろしくお願いいたします。
Thank you very much, Brother Hanzo.
長次郎、俺のことは
Shoshiro, about me.
心得ております。五大老への勘道様の死の報告はこちらで行います。
I know. I'll report to the five elders about Master Kondo's death.
頼む。
Yes, I'm counting on you.
姉様、かすみは
Sis, Kasumi, thank you for dressing Hanzo-sama's wounds.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
もう泣くな。生きにくいだろ。
I'll cry. Don't make it hard for Iris.
姉様。
Sis, I'll go now. Everyone, take care.
元気でな。
You too.
いつかまた会える。そう信じてるわ。それまで元気で。
Someday we'll meet again. I believe so. Till then, take care of yourself.
姉様、大好き。
Sis, I love you.
お前の無事をいつも祈っている。
I'll pray for your safety, always. Take care, everyone. That was a few days ago. The land of Echigo Inn. Sun went down, travelers crowded the streets. They scattered into different inns. The town went quiet again. The innkeeper came in with a medicine box to tend to Hanzo-sama's wounds before dinner. He left soon after. Perhaps this is the inn that Hanzo-sama and the Tokugawa shinobi use often on their travels. It's been a while since I have taken a meal in a room. Each item was so carefully cooked. Hanzo-sama was resting against the wall with his eyes closed. He looked as if he were deep in thought. Then he suddenly opened his eyes wide and looked my way. Our eyes met.
うまかったか。
What's good?
食事だ。まともな食事は久しぶりだろう。
I'm talking about the food. It's been a while since we've had a proper meal. It was delicious. But your cooking was delicious too, Hanzo-sama. He blinked, as if it was an answer he was not expecting. At first, I had too much on my mind to think of food, but now sometimes I miss it. There was a rare expression he was wearing on his face, but I had to make the most of it. He looked away. I straightened my back and faced him formally. Hanzo-sama.
なんだ。
What? Thank you for all you've done for me. He made a face as if to say, I don't know what you're talking about, and stared at me. I was weak. I was a weak, incompetent shinobi. Would you help me come this far? My mother.
かがり殿。
How could I know? Because you noticed what that medicine was. I now know the truth of my mother's death. That's why I wanted to thank you.
礼を言われるようなことではない。
I haven't done anything to be thanked about.
かがり殿は俺にとっても幼い頃に言葉を交わした同郷の方。むしろ俺はお前に詫びねばならぬ。
To me, Kagari no was a childhood friend from the same clan. I should be apologizing to you instead. Apologizing? 甲
賀の里でお前を宿したかがり殿に連れて逃げろと頼まれた時、そうしていれば丸薬は作られず、かがり殿も死なずに済んだ。
I had taken her away when she asked me to. She would not have had to make the medicine. She would not have had to die. Ansa-sama.
伊賀の里の皆にとって心の拠り所のような方だった。
She was a beam of hope for the people of Iga. He dropped his head and continued quietly.
すまぬ。そうしていればお前も違う生を歩んでいただろうに。
Sorry. If I'd taken her away, I would have lived a better life. No, I'm alright. In fact, I'm a little happy.
嬉しい。
Happy? Because I'm selfish. I'm sad that mother died, but I'm relieved. They told me mother had committed suicide, but no one knew why. I thought maybe she didn't want me. But that wasn't the case. She was actually trying to protect me. I know this sounds inappropriate. You shouldn't feel happy, but I do. Mother died for someone like me. If I wasn't...
もういい。
That's enough. Someone stopped me quietly. I didn't lift my head. I didn't want him to see my mouth turning down. I didn't want him to see the frown on my brow. I didn't want him to see me clench my fists. I didn't want him to see me weak. I want to remain a shinobi before him.
もういい。
That's enough. The shuffles. Tap, 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 tap. Until someone stood up slowly and sat down beside me. He pulled me toward him gently, making me rest my head on his chest. Don't do that, please.
お前の母はあの世で今のお前を誇りに思っている。
Your mother would be proud of you if she were here.
だからもういいのだ。お前はここにいるのがいい。
That's why it is enough. You deserve to be here.
声を殺して一人で泣かずともいい。俺がここにいるだろう。
You don't have to pretend not to cry. I'm here, aren't I?
今は俺たちしかいない。
We're alone here. Iris. His voice was so gentle I couldn't bear it anymore. I burst into tears and he hugged me while I cried. I called my name over and over as he held me. In his arms I was no longer shinobi, but just a simple small girl. I cried and cried until I was too tired to cry anymore. My body went limp. But he still kept me in his arms.
落ち着いたか。
I'm feeling better. I'm sorry.
謝るな。
Don't apologize. Okay, thank you.
それでいい。
So much better. He lifted my head, waving a gentle smile. Oh. Time stopped. It felt as if I were getting sucked into those calm eyes. I swallowed a breath.
どうした？
What's wrong? Nothing, I'm just embarrassed, I guess. I couldn't say I was blushing because he looked so handsome.
構わん。俺は一向に気にせぬ。
It's alright, I don't mind. How could I say that I was embarrassed? Not for my tears. But because I had realized that... Now this is gross. But because I realized I'd fallen in love with this beautiful, proud man when I saw him smile. I don't need to tell him. It paid me enough just to know that I have these feelings inside. Just a little more. I just need a little more time. Keep me here in your arms. I also heard the steady breathing from the futon next to his. He remembered how her thin shoulders shook, trying not to cry. He was relieved she hadn't been abandoned by her mother, but guilty that she had been the cause of her death. He felt moved with the girl caught between her contrary emotions. He was also surprised. He had accepted that he had become someone that acknowledged those emotions himself.
だが納得できるようでもある。
Perhaps it's understandable.
二人きりで旅をした日々も三月を超える。
We've traveled together for over 3 months. That automatically makes us lovers, apparently.
追っ手を退けるたびに心を揺らすのは全く忍びらしくはなかった。生きたいと告げるまっすぐな瞳。
Each time we fought and killed, she was shaken. She did not behave like a shinobi would. A shinobi should, excuse me. But her eyes when she declared she would live.
俺にはない強さ。
That is strength I do not possess.
任務のために生き、任務のために死ぬ。道具として生きてきた俺には思いもよらぬ感情を抱えていた。
I live for my missions, and I would die for my missions. She has emotions that are most unexpected to me, for I have lived my life as a weapon for my master.
冷ややかな空洞に熱い炎が輝くように、俺も気づかぬ心を掘り起こした女。
The feeling she has ignited in me is like a blazing fire in a cold cave.
だが、俺はそれをこの娘に告げることはできぬ。
But I cannot tell the girl. Once he delivered her to a safe place, they would part. What meaning would it be for him to let her know? He now had a heart.
この感情には名をつけぬ。
I won't put a name to this emotion.
つけてしまえば手放せぬようになる。
If I do, I will not be able to let it go. But Hanzo already knew what this burning in his heart was. It was something that he was not supposed to experience in his life.
里まであと少し。
A little bit more to the village. Destination was near. They would get there in another 3 days.
別れまであと少し。
A little more till goodbye. He heard the sound of steady breathing from the futon next to his.
しばらくは目覚めまい。
She won't wait for a while. Once he was certain of that, Hanzo slipped out of his futon and left the room. Land of Echigo. Inn. Back door. The innkeeper was one of the Tokugawa shinobi's grass. His job was to blend in with the townspeople and gather information. That is why Hanzo had specifically chosen this inn to stay in. He walked to the back of the inn and stood under a tree. His leaves swayed slightly.
報告を。
Report.
甲賀の長、上野勘当の死により、家康様を除く五大老様は後見人争いから退かれた。
Upon Kondo Ueno's death, all of the 5 elders, excluding Ieyasu-sama, have stepped down from the game. Voice was wet and slimy.
風織か。
Is it you, Kazuori?
ああ、副統領たるこの俺が家康様直々に伝令を仰せつかった。
Yes, Ieyasu-sama ordered me, his second in charge, to give you the message directly.
お主より古く殿に仕える俺だからこそ、この新たなご指示を託すに足ると、殿はお考えなのだ。
He believed I was worthy of carrying this message to you, as a trusted shinobi that has served him for longer than you have.
いいから話せ。
Get to the point.
家康様からお主への新たなご指示を伝える。
Ieyasu-sama has a new order for you.
そうだろう。状況は随分と変わった。
Of course, the situation has changed.
五大老の戦意はだいぶ消失しているはずだ。後見人争いのための追悼を中止することに何の障害もないだろう。
The 5 elders would be disheartened enough by now. It will not hurt for them to stop this nonsense of competing to be Hideyori's guardian.
後見人など不要。石田三成と淀殿に仮初めの下駄を預けておけばいい。
There is no need for one. Mitsunari Ishida and Yodo Dono, keep forgetting her name is Yodo, will make sure they're in charge.
彼らは失敗すると家康様は見ておられる。身長を競うとして時期喪失する三成と祭りごとには向かない劇場的な淀殿。
Ieyasu-sama believes they will fail. Mitsunari is too careful to make the bigger decisions, and Yodo Dono is too short-tempered to be fit for politics.
うまくいくはずがないのだ。家康様が焦る必要はない。
It would never work out with the two. Ieyasu-sama does not need to worry.
大罪人の忍びを抹殺せよとのお言葉。家康様は後見人をお受けするおつもりだ。
You must kill the criminal Irisu Ueno. Ieyasu-sama has decided he will become the guardian. Moment Hanzo couldn't react. It was completely unexpected.
まことか。
Is that true?
そのようにご指示、確かに受けたまわった。
He gave me those orders himself. Why am I not surprised? Seething, menacing anger filled the air. The sound of a branch shaking Once in fear, helpless him out of it. He realized it was himself, nobody else. The anger directed at himself. He closed his eyes and took a slow breath, then he repeated the orders in his head.
家康様からのご指示は大罪人の抹殺。ご自身が秀頼様の後見人につくため。
I asked Osama's orders are for me to kill her, so he himself will become Hideyori-sama's guardian.
殿からのご命令はそれが全てか。
Is that all?
半蔵、お主による甲賀人抹殺、それだけにござる。
Hanzo, you must kill Arasueno, that is all.
はい、わかった。
Understood.
それはご了承いただいたと受け取ってもよろしいか。
Does that mean you've agreed to do it? The voice asked carefully, in an oily manner. He could imagine the man smiling like a snake.
お前は判じる立場にない。され。
You are in no position to ask me. Leave.
承知。
Understood. The branches shook once again. The presence above the tree disappeared.
相変わらず雑な男だ。
It's too obvious. Something disturbed him. Hanzo convinced himself it was Kazawari's fault. But we're dividing Echigo and Dewa. We stayed at the inn for a week to help Hanzo-sama heal. When we left the inn, we traveled the road for 2 days. After we left the roads, we walked for another day. Now we're walking through a green field together, just the two of us. It was summer now, and the sun was starting to dip west. It was past noon. The grass beneath our feet painted the earth in lush green. We walked in silence for most of the time, with short conversations now and then. I was hiding my feelings that I had realized the first day we stayed at the inn, until someone never mentioned the incident that happened that day.
そういえば、長次郎の弟子だと言っていたな。
You said you were Shojiro's disciple. Yes.
では、これは教わったか。
Then did he teach you this? He picked a blade of grass and put it to his lips. A grass whistle. Yes, he taught me it could be used as code by how high or low you blow. I did the same, put a blade to my mouth. Well, I'm not very good at it. I was much better at listening.
では、これはどういう意味だ？
What does this mean? He's safe here.
そうだ。では、これは？
That's right, what about this? He's safe here, but stay alert, I think.
そうだ。伊賀の里に伝わる草笛の符丁だ。
Correct. It is a code that is used among Iga shinobi. Iga. Yeah, that's true. Dad kinda messed that up for us.
徳川家にお仕えするようになって使っていなかったな。
I never used it since I left to work under the Tokugawas. I didn't use it in Koga either. Brother Shoshiro taught me, but everyone else uses a different kind of code.
消えてゆくのだな。
It's a dying art. But I won't forget. I won't forget. I won't forget a single thing you taught me, Hanzo-sama. I stopped. We're almost at our destination. I sensed that. That was why I stopped. Hanzo-sama stopped too, after taking another step. He turned to me, and printed the memory of his face into my mind. I was wearing a smile. I was so happy we were able to spend such a calm, quiet time together. Hanzo-sama, I'd like it to be here, please. Hanzo-sama's lips quivered once, as if he was about to ask the question. But he had known. He knew I had been listening that night.
腕を上げたな。
He improved. He praised my stealth skills. I was genuinely pleased with the compliment. Thank you very much.
俺は。
Someone tried to say something, but decided otherwise. Enough. He'd given me company for long enough. I took out my daggers. Hanzo-sama also covered his mouth and took a stance. You have saved me countless times, Hanzo-sama.
命令だからな。
It was my orders. And if your orders have changed, you must kill me. I carefully to control my voice to stop it from shaking. I breathed out, sucked in a deep breath. Then I told him, I will fight you till the end, to the best of my abilities.
半蔵は忍びだ。家康の命令があれば、すぐにでもあんたを切る。わかってるだろ?
Hanzo is a shinobi. If Ieyasu orders him to kill you, he'll do it without batting an eye. You know that, don't you? Of course he should. He's a shinobi.
意外に冷静だね。でもそうなったら、お嬢ちゃんは黙って殺されるのかい?
You're not fully understanding, miss. Do you mean to happily let him kill you when the time comes? No, I won't make it easy for him. I'll fight him. Really? The life that he saved. It's the best I could do. I have no regrets even if I die. I have enough etched in my heart. I won't forget. I will never forget a single thing he taught me. Hanzo-sama, I may be making things difficult for you, but I won't stop trying to keep myself alive. It is the only way I can prove myself to you. Some drew out his blades and crouched to prepare for a leap. Instead, he dropped on his knees. Then he looked at me and raised his face to the skies. I thought he was crying. Why I felt that I will know. His eyes were dry. They were hesitant.
なぜお前なのだ?
Why is it you?
なぜ俺なのだ?
Why is it me? His voice sounded as sad as the grass whistle. I thought he was crying. Why I felt that, I did not know.
行け。目指す里はあの山の頂にある。
Go. Your destination is the top of the mountain. He pointed in the direction with his head hung down. He looked defeated.
お前は生きろ。
You stay alive. Hanzo-sama. And he jumped up high. He threw 3 shuriken. 3 screams erupted from around us.
裏切ったか、半蔵!
Betrayed us, Hanzo. We were surrounded. No place to hide in the grass field. 6 shadows made their presence known. They were among the ground, unconscious from the shuriken that had been thrown unexpectedly. The shadows stepped forward, the eyes of a snake.
所詮伊賀者、お主など殿に沿わぬ男よ。
We're naked shinobi after all, unfit to serve our master. I smirked, until someone gave him a cold stare.
風織、俺の座が欲しいか? 徳川忍び組棟梁の地位を奪いたいか?
Kazori, you want a position so badly. You want to be the leader of the Tokugawa shinobi. His voice was colder than ice and darker than the night.
ならば奪え、己の才覚で。
And try to take it for evil.
おうよ、裏切り者を抹殺して徳川最強の忍びの名奪ってやる!
Fine. I'll kill you, betrayer, and take your name. You should be the strongest shinobi known to Tokugawa. The 5 other shinobi threw their shuriken at the same time. We were aimed at Hanzo-sama, but the 2 were for me. I knocked them down with my daggers and began to run.
行け! これは徳川忍び組の争いだ!
Oh, this is a fight between Tokugawa. I won't go. Dodge the shinobi coming at me.
お前は行け! 里へ向かえ!
Go, head to the village. Fighting with you.
生きていてくれ!
Stay alive. He's pleading me to go.
お前は生きてくれ!
Please stay alive, Iris. That's the first time you call me by name! Yay! I swallowed a breath. Don't. This will say that.
俺は今のお前を誇りに思っている。
Proud of you.
だからもういいのだ。お前は死んではならぬ。
No, enough. You must not die.
生きていてほしい。そう思ったのはお前しかおらぬ。
You need to live. I've never felt this way about someone before.
俺にはお前しかいない。
You are important to me. Knew it. There we go. Iris. It was so gentle I could stand it. Don't leave me. Don't make me go. You take me there. Going with you. I'll go with you.
お前は本当に愚かな女だ
You
な。
foolish girl.
その愚かさを愛しいと思う。
But I even adore your foolishness now. We stood facing the enemy.
観念したか。二人まとめてほふってやる。
Given up already. I'll kill you both.
風織、お前は俺には勝てぬ。
Kazori, you will not be able to defeat me.
何？この後に及んで見苦しい強がりか。
I dare you to make that your last words.
参る。
It's fine. Leap forward. Stand close to the ground. He knocked out one of the men. Time to go. Drew the attention of one of the men. Here by me, I looked sideways. Oh well. It wasn't time to rejoice. I was already moving, ready for the next attack. The more I could distract, the fewer Hanzo-sama I had to deal with. I slipped the rope from my waist. In the corner of my eye, I saw Hanzo-sama took out another with a kick to the jaw. With 3. He went after me. Hanzo-sama had 2. The man named Kazuori was formidable. Hanzo-sama was slowly being pushed back. A touch of blood dropped onto the grass. Sucked in a breath. His have opened. Blood seeped through his black clothing, dripping down to the green grass. Wound was inflicted on him when he tried not to kill Brother Shoshiro in the Battle of Koga. It was also the wound he received from Kasumi when he took the blow from the shop room to protect me. That wound was proof that he had saved both my soul and my life. Calculated my distance between myself and the shinobi after me. In the back I jumped, threw my rope, the end jabbing to the ground. The shinobi smirked, dodging my rope easily. Don't have to hit him. I ran and turned around. I ran and turned again. I ran fast.
Kuso!
Damn you. So at the kunai Hanzo-sama had given, he tied at the end of the rope. We were running around, like a trap, down the shinobi's legs. He was knocked out cold. Turned around. Hanzo-sama had knocked out another. Kazuori was now alone. Hanzo-sama still had his daggers raised, but he was bleeding heavily. It was obvious he was breathing hard. Hanzo-sama.
手負いの身とはいえさすがだな。
Too bad for a wounded animal.
だがお前の負けだ。徳川忍び組とやり合って命を奪わぬとは。殺して倒せばそれほど傷も開かず済んだぞ。
We're not fighting with the intention to take our lives. If you had simply gone for the kill, your wound would not have opened. Hanzo-sama took the time to steady his breathing. Kazuori was looking smug.
メイドへ旅立つ前に教えてくれ。なぜ殺さなかった？
Tell me before you die, why didn't you kill them?
家康様の忍びを失えぬ。
Can't have Ayasu-sama waste his men.
裏切り者がきれいごと！
Those are unfair for a traitor like you. The first time, Kazuori sounded irritated. He threw a shuriken so fast I couldn't even see him do it. Hanzo-sama dodged easily, but whenever he moved, the wound opened wider.
苦しいだろう。俺も飽きた。すぐに殺してやる。
It hurts, doesn't it? I'm getting bored of you. I'll kill you now. Cool. As a matter of fact.
参る。
Try it. Two leapt forward. The blades flashed. Me too. The air froze over as the two stood as still as statues. Hanzo-sama. One of them dropped to the ground.
くそ！情けをかけたつもりか。
Damn you, I think you're being kind. The knife stuck in Kazuori's thigh. Hanzo-sama walked over to Kazuori, pulled the blade out quickly without hesitation. Blood spread out everywhere. Kazuori rolled in the grass. Hanzo-sama looked down at the man with cold eyes. Then he kicked him in the head, knocking him out. He finally raised his head to look at me. I met his eyes. He was bloody all over, but he was alive. He gave me a nod, began to walk. I ran over to him and walked by his side. His voice was slightly dry and raspy.
殺さなかったのか?
You didn't kill him. No.
なぜ?
Why? Because you protected my people. You didn't kill my friends from Koga.
だからお前も.
So you did the same. I nodded. Hatsuma chuckled in his throat. He seemed to be thoroughly entertained. Hatsuma.
もはや徳川忍び組をしのぐか。今日の町に来た時はあんなに頼りなかった娘が。
And now you are stronger than the Tokugawa shinobi. The wife of a girl that came to Kyo without skill or experience. Imagine that. Cheeks went hot. I rubbed on them. But I was sure they remained red. I just felt happy and shy. I remembered how useless I was that time. I was just a simple girl without the makings of a shinobi. The summer broke out and a smile went my hair.
俺は今のお前を誇りに思っている。
I'm proud of you. Hatsuma. I was so happy I felt tears forming in my eyes. I shook my head to shake them away. We walked through the fields. Just the two of us. When we stopped for a moment, I saw the moon had risen behind him. So between evening and night, I heard his voice.
生きていてほしい。そう思ったのはお前しかおらぬ。
I want you to stay alive. You're the only one that has ever made me feel this way.
俺にはお前しかいない。
More important to me. Take me with you. I want to walk by your side. Ew. I heard that. Foul. Those are nasty. Border dividing Echigo and Dewa. By the time we made our way to the mountains, it was midnight. Once the sun was breathing heavily. Now the wind is open. We rest in a shallow cave we found in a small cliff, held closely together.
このまま山頂を目指せ。忍びの隠れ里がそこにある。
Head for the top of the mountain. There's a hidden village there. Hidden village?
伊賀の里が滅んだ後、残った者はほとんどが甲賀者となったが、一部忍びを離れた者がいる。
When Iga was destroyed, most of the survivors were absorbed by Koga. But some of them left the path of a shinobi.
その者たちが作った里だ。お前をそこへ連れて行くつもりだった。
The village was made by those people. I intended to take you there. I won't go alone.
俺は行けぬ。
But I cannot make it. And neither will I. My voice went dry, but I controlled myself. I didn't want to cry.
聞き分けのないことを言うな。俺とお前とでは違う。
But difficult. You and I are different. Hatsuma, do you think you failed your mission? His bitter expression said everything. He was ordered to kill me. He said before, the late Tenba Momichi taught him, failure of a mission meant death. Hatsuma, you intend to kill yourself here, don't you?
俺は家康様のご命令に背いた。任務を果たせぬ以上、死をもって贖うのは必定。
I've gone against my master's orders. If I cannot complete the mission, then my life will be given in return. That is the rule.
だが、それはお前には関係ない。
But that has nothing to do with you. It does.
ない。
It does not. It does. Let a large breath and hold me close.
生きていてほしい。そう思ったのは、お前しかおらぬ。
I'm here to stay alive. You're the only one that's ever made me feel this way. He spoke in a whisper, soft as a sigh, and I made a decision. Will you
生きるか。
live? Hatsuma. Eyes felt hot. Hatsuma wiped my tears away before they could fall. Nope, not reading that. Also not reading that. Ugh. Oh, go to nasty. Of course, that's CG. Again, it's beautifully done. I really like her hair though. It's cute. The moon is so beautiful today. Nope. Finally, I managed with his eyes. He was smiling gently at me.
What's
the matter? Nothing, I'm just embarrassed, I guess. You're so handsome when you smile. I was just admiring your beauty. I said that Hanzo-sama's cheeks went slightly pink.
バカを言うな。お前の微笑み以上に美しいものがこの世にあるものか。
Don't be ridiculous. Nothing compares to the beauty of your smile. Then he kissed me again. Fantastic. And I had just begun. There would be time till sunrise. Dawn came. Thank you for skipping that. I don't want anything to do with it. We just slept side by side. We woke to the light, the warm light in our eyes.
死にそびれた。
I'm so alive. Did you want to die?
Yeah.
No. He smiled. I still can't get over how handsome he looked.
行こう。
Let's go. We went walking again. We got close to one another. Just because we didn't want to be apart, and partly because he needed support from his wounds. When we reached the small path at the top of the mountain, I heard Hanzo-sama suck in a breath.
Ieyasu-sama.
No! Hanzo-sama. We separated from each other, and Hanzo-sama walked toward him. Lord Tokugawa stood waiting. Behind him was Kazuori, with a white bandage around his thigh, wearing a slimy smile.
Hanzo, makari koshite gozaimasu.
Master, Hanzo at your disposal. He dropped to one knee and bowed before Lord Tokugawa. I got on one knee, following suit. But I did not bow my head. Girl, show some respect.
Yoi.
It's fine. Lord Tokugawa's voice was like still water that had been disturbed by a thrown stone. The effect was like whiplash. Kazuori fell silent.
深手を負いましたね。半蔵ともあろう忍びが。
You had been wounded badly. I hadn't expected that of you.
面目ございません。
I have no words.
甲賀の長、上野勘道の死により、五大老の他の方々は後見人争いに打つ手を持たぬようです。
Now that Kondo Ueno is dead, the five elders have no way to compete for their position of guardian.
秀吉様殺害の犯人追悼をもって後見人を決めるのも無意味という声も上がっています。
There are also voices claiming that this chase is pointless. We should give up the idea entirely.
石田三成と淀殿は秀頼様を跡継ぎとして盛り立てようと必死に画策しておられる。
Mitsunari Ishida and Yorodono are scrambling to make Hideyori-sama the ruling heir. Also, how did you get here before us?
彼らに任せても良いでしょうね。2年と持たぬと思いますが。
Perhaps we should let them be. I doubt they would last 2 years.
身長を競うとして次期喪失する三成と、祭りごとには向かない劇場的な淀殿でうまくいくと思え、という方が無理でしょう。
Mitsunari is not capable of making life decisions. Yorodono does not know how to control her emotions. It will not be a good match.
そうは思いませんか、半蔵。
Don't you think, Hanzo?
御意。
Yes.
ですが私は、あえて後見人を買って出ても良いと思い始めています。
But recently I've been thinking it may not be such a bad idea to become the guardian. Someone lifted his head, face gone completely white. He stared at Lord Tokugawa without flinching. He was watching me as well.
せっかくここまで連れてきたが、無駄足に終わったな、半蔵。
I made all that effort to bring her here, and it will all go to waste, Hanzo. Kazuori cackled, like he was having the time of his life. But his disgusting glee did not last for long.
Yes, Sama.
He just destroyed this fool. No.
私は 命令を語られるのは嫌いですよ、風織。
I do not like my orders repeated, Kazuori. His sword was fast. Kazuori's protector broke, his forehead sliced in two. Lord Tokugawa flicked his sword once to clean it. Kazuori's blood splattered on the mud.
半蔵、その娘の死が私を後見人にする。それは分かっていますね。
Hanzo, you know the girl's death will guarantee my position as guardian, don't you?
承知しております。
Yes, I do.
ならば切りなさい。
Then use your blade.
できませぬ。
I cannot. Someone looked at Lord Tokugawa dead in the eye. His answer was firm.
いいえ、お前はできますよ。
Of course you can. Stand up, both of you. We obeyed the quiet order. Hanzo-sama had his hand lax at his sides. He now touched his daggers. I watched him quietly. He saved me so many times, we shared much. He asked for us to live. There was no need for words anymore.
やりなさい、半蔵。私が欲しいのはその娘が死んだという証です。
Lord Hanzo. What I need is proof the girl is dead. Proof? Someone asked that question. So his blade flashed and cut my sash in two. He dropped to the ground quietly. Lord Tokugawa bent down to pick it up.
ああ、これでいいでしょう。程よく血の跡もついている。よくやりましたね、Hanzo。
This'll do. It is perfectly stained with blood too. Well done, Hanzo.
私も徳川忍び組の副統領を失うなど痛手を負いましたが、最後は半蔵が成し遂げてくれたようです。
I'm happy to report we lost our second in command to complete this feat. But in the end, you managed to finish the game, Hanzo. Lord Tokugawa smiled warmly.
良い部下を持つのは主の誉れですね。
It pleased me to know I have such capable men. I was speechless, but I could tell that Lord Tokugawa was genuinely proud of Hanzo-sama, and I couldn't help but smile as well. Hanzo-sama is the strongest shinobi in history.
ああ、本当にそうです。では、ごきげんよう。
Yes, he truly is. Have a good day. I dropped down on one knee and bowed this time. Lord Tokugawa began to walk away, waiting for footsteps to follow. But he stopped and turned to see Hanzo-sama had not moved from the spot. I looked up in surprise, and Hanzo-sama bent down before me. Then he kissed me. I was so stunned I froze on the spot. Hanzo-sama stood up and grinned at my expression. I lowered this away. Lord Tokugawa sighed resignedly.
ずいぶんと大胆になりましたね、お前も。
You've certainly become very forward, Hanzo.
御意。
Yes. Hanzo-sama turned back and threw me a smile. He nodded once. I smiled back, knowing what he meant. I believe him.
いいのですか？
Are you sure you want to leave with me?
御意。
Yes. Two made their way down the mountain. Hanzo-sama never looked back. The land of Dewa, Hidden Village. A month passed. The villagers of the Hidden Village welcomed me with open arms. My days passed peacefully. I almost couldn't believe that we had fought so hard during our journey together. So many people had been hurt. So many people died. I killed a few people too, but I'll never forget. There's something I had to bear since I chose to stay alive. This day, a friendly face came to pay me a visit. Brother Shishiro! How you doing, dude?
息災のようだな。
Seem to be doing well, Iris. How'd you know?
半蔵殿から伺った。
Brother Hanzo told me. When I heard his name, I felt a bittersweet warmth spread in my heart. I missed him.
まずは礼を言う。甲賀の里を守ってくれたのはお前だ。本当に感謝している。
I was going to thank you. You saved Koga. You have my gratitude. Brother Shishiro bowed deeply. I went in a fluster. Please don't. Stop this, Brother Shishiro.
あの時お前は甲賀の忍びを殺すこともできた。客観的に見ればむしろ殺すのが当然だ。
You could have killed all the Koga shinobi after you. No, you should have.
だがこうして私たちは生き、甲賀の里も続いている。
But here we are alive, and Koga's doing well. It's good to know. What happened to Gekamaru and Koroyuki?
月下丸は里に戻ってきている。お前の望み通り忍びをまとめて今も里を守っている。
Gekamaru returned to the village. He kept his promise to you, and he is now one of the leaders protecting the clan. Oh, good. Whenever I thought of him, I felt happy. My dear, dear friend. He was always there for me. He always protected me. He cared the most about me. Bye, Gekamaru.
あなたもお達者で。
Take care, Arasama.
黒雪は姿を消した。甲賀の里に戻るつもりはないらしい。それでいいと思っている。
Koroyuki disappeared shortly after. He said he did not intend to return to Koga. I respect his decision.
戻ってくれば受け入れるし、そうでなくても追うことはない。
If he chooses to return one day, we'll welcome him. If he chooses to leave, we will not hold him back. I see.
昔は月下に、今度はあの男。
His brother Gekka in the past, and now it's him.
その次なんだね。
I was playing second fiddle. It's not true. Koroyuki is Koroyuki. If he is free now, it suits him best.
黒雪のことだ。気が向いたらふらりと戻るだろう。
It's Koroyuki. He'll come back when he feels like it. Yes, I think so too. The others, Inosuke, Kiara, is Kasumi alright?
皆無事だ。お前に会いたいと毎日のように言っている。
They were fine. They all say they want to see you every day. I shook my head. Perhaps Koga's dead.
そうだったな。家康様が半蔵殿が取ったというお前の遺品を示して後見人を拝命なされた。
Of course. Lord Tokugawa became the guardian after displaying proof that Brother Hanzo had killed you.
惨殺され顔もわからぬほどの意外は伏見のお城の汚れになろうから持ち帰らなかったと言ってな。
He claimed it would be an atrocity to bring your corpse back to Fushimi Castle, since you were so badly cut and mangled. Some of the strongest shinobi in history after all.
違いない。
Yes, he is.
その半蔵殿だがお役目を退かれた。
My brother Hanzo. He's retired from his position recently. Huh? Did someone quit?
ああ。大罪人との戦いで負った傷が癒えず、もはや刀が握れぬとのよし。
Yes, he claimed he could not wield his blade as well as he used to, after the fight with a formidable criminal. No.
私たちとの戦いの後、傷癒えぬうちに徳川忍び組と戦ったと聞いた。
I heard he fought with the Tokugawa shinobi straight after the fight with us, with no time to heal his wounds.
その傷が深く、治療が叶わなかったと。許せ。
The wound was deep and it did not heal completely. Forgive me. No.
家康様もこれまでの功績により武士としての地位を約束し、側近に取り立てようとなさったらしい。
Lord Tokugawa offered him land and a rank as a high official to stay by his side as a reward for his services.
だが堅なに固辞し、近く家康様の元を去ることとなったそうだ。
But he refused the offer, and I hear he will be leaving Lord Tokugawa shortly. Really tightened in my chest, but I couldn't help smiling. So like him. He says something stubborn on the lines of, I don't know how to be anything other than a shinobi. It's so like him.
お前はいい顔で笑うようになったな。
You've changed for the better. Your smile is much brighter. Do you think?
ああ。私はお前を誇りに思う。だから本当は里に戻ってきてほしい。
Yes, I do. I'm proud of you. To be honest, I want you back in Koga. But I cannot see the others. I'm a traitor and a criminal. At least to the village.
関東様か。
Because of Master Kondo. I nodded. And they are right to brand me as a criminal. He was the man that killed my mother, but he was still my father. It took time for me to digest the anger I felt at that time. And now that I have calmed down, I understood the weight of my sins. He was a cruel man that never thought of his daughter, but even so, he was our leader and my father. I'm a murderer and I always will be.
そうか。無理は言うまい。だが時折頼りをくれないか。
I see. I won't force you, but when you can, right.
猿之助もキャラも霞も月下丸もお前の様子を知りたがっている。
Inosuke, Kiara, and Kasumi, and Gekkomaru would love to hear how you're doing.
もちろんこの私もな。
And of course, me too. Yes, thank you very much. I have a feeling that we're like at the end, so I'm just gonna keep this going until we make it. We chatted for a while after that. When sunset came, Brother Shushiro left. Maybe I would never see him again. When I thought of that, it saddened me. At least I know he is alright. Brother Shushiro, Gekkomaru, and Inosuke, Kiara, Kasumi. The village was also alright. Because Hanzo-sama had protected them all. Hanzo-sama. Looked up at the sky. The moon was beginning to rise from the east. It was so beautiful today. Jesus! It's like a blanket! I admired the view for a while. On the road. I feel vulnerable. Hanzo thought to himself repeatedly as he walked. He did not have a blade on his back. He did not carry a shuriken, nor a kunai in his pockets. He did not carry a single weapon. Even Ieyasu had looked at him curiously. He studied how Hanzo was dressed as a normal traveler when he paid him a visit to say goodbye.
そうした姿を見ても頼りないだけですね、Hanzo.
When you're dressed that way, I find it hard to believe that you're dangerous, Hanzo.
御意。
Yes.
今からでも残ると言ってみたらどうですか？
How about telling me you wish to stay now?
以前ほど使えぬとしても、刀を持つお前の方がしっくりきます。
Even if you can't wield your sword as well as you did, you look much better with it on your back.
いえ、恐れ多いことですが、半蔵の名を継ぐ者が、これからも徳川家をお守り申し上げます。
Thank you for your offer, but I must decline. Another of my men will inherit the name Hanzo and protect you from now on. Lord Tokugawa heaved a sigh and waved a hand as if he were disappointed. As if he were shooing away a pet.
嫁でももらって戻ってきなさい。
Go find yourself a wife, then come back.
それはどうだろうか。
I wonder if that would be a good idea. Hanzo thought to himself. He bowed and took his leave. Hanzo had left the path of a shinobi. He did not stop when he reached that town. He did not stop when he walked through the grass fields. At long last he was there. He remembered they had parted ways on this very road, just like it was yesterday. Hanzo stood at the spot for a while. The wind brought the smell of autumn with it.
初めて会った時から季節が2つ回った。
It's been 2 seasons since we met. He looked up to the sky. Iris. The land of Dewa, hidden village. For the past month, I had watched the mountain path from the village every day and hoped that I would catch a glimpse of him when he arrived. He was there, standing near the edges of the village, looking up at the moon. I took a deep breath and called out to him. The moon is so beautiful today.
そうだな。
Yes, it is. Hanzo-sama turned around to face me.
だが、お前の微笑み以上に美しいものがこの世にあるものか。
But nothing compares to the beauty of your smile. I ran to him the moment I heard his words. Hanzo! I jumped on him and he caught me, hugging me to his chest. He was warm. I looked up in his eyes. I missed you. I know. Thanks. Everything about him was gentle. I felt so happy I could burst. I pulled on his hand. Let's go. Okay. As I walked through the village, my step was the lightest it had been the past month. Hanzo.
なんだ。
What? Happy retirement.
知っていたのか。ああ、長次郎だな。
There, no. Shushiro must have told you. Yes.
以前のように刀が使えぬ。廃業するほかない。
I can't use my blade the way I used to. I had no choice but to quit. You rejected Lord Tokugawa's offer?
当然だ。
Of course.
忍び働きのほかお使いできぬ。
I do not know how to be anything other than a shinobi. I mimicked his voice. We said it perfectly in sync and I laughed. He's here. Otsu-sama is right here. I can talk to him. And if I reach out my hand, I can touch him. I can show him around the house. We've lived alone all this time, but... As we got home, I ushered him in and spun around to face him. Is where I live?
そうか。
Yes, and it's your home too. Said out loud. I've been dying to say that.
では、ただいま戻った。
Alright, I'm home. Remember the conversation we had by the river? I was so embarrassed I had said it that time. But now I'm not. It was natural for me to say it. Yes, welcome home. Smile spread on my face. I heard a second breath. Iris. Yes?
もう無理だな。
This as much as I can manage. Suddenly hug me close and kiss me hard. I hate that. Again! Nope. No. Anzo.
嫌か。
Do not want this. Honestly, I don't. Looked at me with heated eyes. Of course I do.
ならば、
Close your eyes. Nope.
会いたかっ
I missed you. So did I.
取り乱すまいと決めていた。だが、やはり無理だったな。
I told myself I had to stay calm, but I knew I couldn't do it. It's alright, don't stop. Nope, in the back he smiled.
ここ、
So long, it took so long to get here. Yeah.
お前を思わぬ日などなかった。焦がれる気持ち、愛しい気持ちを、もう一月も一人で抱えていたのだ。
Thought about you every day. I longed for you. Missed you for a month. It was hard to keep that to myself. I know.
その間、お前は何をして過ごしていた？
What have you been doing all this time? Yeah, softly, I smiled. I was waiting for you, of course. I waited from the bottom of my heart. Anzo-sama stiffened for a moment and looked away. Anzo.
あまり可愛いことを言うな。また止まらなくなる。
Say things like that, I won't be able to control myself anymore. I'm bright red. Anzo-sama gave a small chuckle. I adored him when he did that. Never thought a day would come where I would talk with him this way. In the very beginning, he was the epitome of the perfect shinobi. But now that has changed. Nope.
生きていてほしい。そう思ったのはお前しかおらぬ。
One more time, everybody together, because this is the 9th time we've heard this. I want you to stay alive. You are the only one that has ever made me feel this way. You've saved my life so many times.
俺にはお前しかいない。
Because you're important to me. Anzo-sama.
愛しいと思ったのもお前だけだ。
You're the only person I've ever loved.
俺と共に生きてくれ。
Marry me, you. I mean, aw. Of course I will. And so two shinobi disappeared from the world. In their place is a new beginning. The moon was their only witness. Yay! We did it! Oh, we got a husband. Let's go.
ちただ悲しくてどめどない涙の中あなたを思っていた時のそばで巡り会えたら絶えずけなげない花のようにたとえ風が吹きすさんでも共に生きよう朝な夕なあなたに誓う空に羽ばたく鳥のように香る風と光に歌い絶えず告げよう永遠に咲く想いを
お前との出会いが俺の人生を変えた。これからは忍びとしてではなく、一人の男としてお前の隣で生きていこう。
I don't speak Japanese, don't know what that means, but I think it's nice. So that's it for Nightshade, at least for Hanzo's route. I enjoyed it. Did not go the way that I had hoped. But we got married and then we lived our lives. So I feel like that's a win. And thank you very much for watching. And hopefully I'll see you later.